Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. This is a sad situation. They just went out there and they fired Mike Budenholzer. He only got the coach of the Phoenix Suns for one season. And the reason why they fired him is because they went 36-46 on the year. In their last 10 games, they finished 1-9, which is crazy to really think about. But they just fired Frank Vogel from last season. And Frank Vogel got them to the NBA playoffs. They did lose against the Minnesota Timberwolves in embarrassing fashion in the first round. And then before that, you had Monty Williams. I blame all of this on the brand new owner, Matt, because the Phoenix Suns had a competent team before he bought this organization. They had a lineup with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton at the 5. You had a very good basketball team. That team was so good, they went to the NBA Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. They ran teams over in the bubble. They went undefeated. And you saw Monty Williams build something there with the Suns. He built a culture there. He'll run into his disagreements with DeAndre Ayton, and DeAndre Ayton is still not the most consistent player. But at least he was able to go out there and play defense for you sometime. I look at Bradley Beal. He's not playing defense at all. The reason why the coaches are getting fired over and over again with this organization is because of ownership. And you have to be careful when you do this in sports because it's going to be hard as hell to bring in another coach to try to come and coach in this job. I'm just telling you guys how it is. Because Frank Vogel, he won a championship with the Lakers in the bubble. He was a very good head coach with the Indiana Pacers. Mike Budenholzer was the head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. They haven't been the same since they let him go. He was a very good head coach. All of the coaches that you brought in were very good coaches within the last 3 hiring cycles. Monty Williams, he went over to the Detroit Pistons. He was not good. But he did as much as he could with this organization, and they let him go. Devin Booker has had 8 different coaches in 11 years. Let me say that again. 8 different coaches in 11 years. That is just mind-boggling to me. The fact that an organization can just chew up coaches and spit them out. At some point in time, you have to look at your roster and say, okay, we have to make a move. And the writing is on the wall for the Phoenix Suns. They're going to have to go out there and trade Kevin Durant and potentially Devin Booker also. Now, Devin Booker has been with this team all the way through since they drafted him many years ago. He has been a superstar. He's one of the best players you can have in the NBA. But the reason why I'm saying you may have to also trade Devin Booker, Kevin Durant is in his late 30s. You're not going to go out there and get a great haul for Kevin Durant. I know on paper he's Kevin Durant. He's one of the best players to ever play basketball. He's 36 years old, and he's dealt with injuries in the past. He wasn't even able to finish out the season over the last few weeks because he's been dealing with an injury yet again. But he averaged 27 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 53% from the field, and his three-point percentage was beautiful, sitting at 43%. He is still one of the best scorers and one of the best shooters in the NBA. He's just older, and things have changed now. 5 years ago, you could get away with this roster and put more talent around your big 3 in Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. But when you look at the new CBA, they came in with new rules and new regulations. You want to build a super team? You can do that. Good luck filling out your bench. Good luck trying to bring in other pieces around your starting 3. And that's what the Phoenix Suns have done. They've gutted this roster. You traded 4 first-round picks unprotected for Bradley Beal and your veteran Chris Paul. You traded Mikal Bridges and more first-round picks to go bring in Kevin Durant. And when those big 3 players could not step up for you on both sides of the court, it showed. Devin Booker is your best player right now. Don't get me wrong. But you look at Kevin Durant, that's the player that you're going to have to move off of. They tried to do this at the trade deadline. They were in talks with the Golden State Warriors about potentially moving Kevin Durant back to Golden State, a team in conference. That's how desperate the Phoenix Suns were to fill out this roster and to save some draft capital over the next few years because they don't have any. So they need other teams' first-round picks. They don't have a first-round pick for a very long time. And Matt put himself in this situation. This is why a lot of billionaires should not own sports teams because they build their teams like they were playing a video game. But this has real life consequences. They tried to trade him to Golden State. He said no. And then Kevin Durant comes back and he asks them, why are you trying to trade me? And if Phoenix Suns just came out, we don't feel like we can contend right now. But Kevin Durant said, I don't want to go back to the Golden State Warriors, which led to them going out there and making a move to bring in Jimmy Butler, which is really sad because Jimmy Butler wanted to be on the Phoenix Suns. He did not want to be on the Golden State Warriors, and he would have been a perfect player to play alongside Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. If you ask the question, so why not move off of Bradley Beal? He has a no trade clause. Yes, Bradley Beal has a clause in his contract like how Giannis does, LeBron, and Stephen Curry. He is not on the same level as those players, and he's getting paid over $50 million. I don't know what the hell the Washington Wizards were smoking when they gave him that contract, but they gave him one of the biggest deals in the NBA at that time. And the fact that the Phoenix Suns were stupid enough to go out there and bring in Bradley Beal after you just traded for Kevin Durant 5 months before is just mind-boggling to me once again. When you look at Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, they're similar players. Devin Booker is just a better player than Bradley Beal. And what happens is basically this. When you have two players and they operate on the court in the same positions, it's going to clog up your offense. Neither one of those players are facilitators. Kevin Durant damn sure isn't a facilitator because when you put him against a double team, he doesn't have the court vision like most point guards in the NBA. So he just may turn the basketball over or he may just shoot over both defenders. And Devin Booker, you try to make him a main facilitator. He is better off as a shooting guard. So they brought in Tyus Jones, which I really feel for him. He took less money to get into this situation because he wanted to play with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant, but he was taking less money now, and hopefully in the future he could show teams that he could be a winner. That's not the case. They plugged him out of the starting lineup. I don't know what his career is going to look like moving forward, but he's a solid point guard. He can orchestrate your offense. But it was so much going on. The lack of defense, the lack of shooting at times. Bradley Beal is supposed to be your number 3 option. Most nights he looks like your last option. He only had 1 point against the Boston Celtics and he played 30 minutes in that matchup. Bradley Beal has been a major disappointment, and I'm really not trying to come on here and basically blame all this on Bradley Beal. But the fact that he has that contract, and he doesn't want to lead the Phoenix Suns, they have their hands tied behind their back. They don't have a choice but to trade Kevin Durant. In an ideal world, you would have Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and put 3-and-D pieces around them in a very good center. They also had Jusuf Nurkic. They were trying to make him this defensive rolling big, which did not work out. He was one of the worst starters in the NBA. They tried to put Bol at the center position. He had moments, but he will never be a starting center in the NBA on a consistent basis. You have Ryan Dunn. Grayson Allen has been a solid three-point shooter, especially as a 3-and-D player, who played an essential role with the Milwaukee Bucks. But when you don't have that true facilitator that can go out there and that can set up Bradley Beal and can set up Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, this is what's going to happen. And when you look at Bradley Beal, he's a score-first player. He is not known to go out there and orchestrate your offense. That's not his MO. Even with the Washington Wizards, he played alongside John Wall. John Wall was the main facilitating point guard, not Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal had some big-time moments with the Wizards. The problem was this. He was their only option. The Wizards were terrible in the Eastern Conference. They made the NBA playoffs with Westbrook. Don't get me wrong. But Bradley Beal by himself, he's not going to get it done. He is not a championship caliber player. And he never will be. The defense is not there, and the offensive consistency also isn't there, and he's getting older. Devin Booker will give you the best return. It's not going to be Kevin Durant. There's a lot of talks right now that the Dallas Mavericks may want to trade him, that they may want to go out there and make a trade for Kevin Durant. I hope that's the case. You could possibly bring in some bigs around Devin Booker. But this is a rebuild situation because you don't own your own first-round picks for the next few years. The contract situation is abysmal with your big 3. They're taking up so much money, and you still have to build a bench. This is the one thing with the Phoenix Suns that a lot of analysts were worried about 2 or 3 years ago. And that's why I looked at Vegas sideways when they said they had the 3rd best odds of going out there and win the NBA Finals. What the hell were they thinking? Because no, they didn't. This team had a worse record than the Chicago Bulls. They had a worse net rating than the San Antonio Spurs, and the Spurs lost Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. They have a worse record than the Sacramento Kings and the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks were Injury riddled all the way through in the back half of this season. No Kyrie Irving. Anthony Davis, he missed time. Daniel Gafford, he missed time. Derek Lively, he missed time. Those are 4 essential players for the Mavericks, and you still couldn't catch up. And the Golden State Warriors had a dry spell in the middle of the season. They looked completely terrible. But yet, this team could not find a way to go out there and win basketball games when it mattered the most. The San Antonio Spurs have 2 less wins than the Phoenix Suns, and they lost their star players. They have the same record as the Portland Trail Blazers. Now tell me on paper who is the better team, the Trail Blazers or the Suns. They were worse in their last 10 games than the Washington Wizards. That's how bad the Phoenix Suns were down the stretch. We can blame coaches all we want to in the NBA, but ownership and everyone in the front office, they deserve a lot of blame. Frank Vogel did not deserve to get fired with the Phoenix Suns. And the same with Mike Budenholzer and the same with Monty Williams. Until the owner gets his head out of his ass, this is what's going to happen every single year. Because anytime you fire a coach like this, and it really pisses me off, you fire the coach because you feel like they have not lived up to the potential, but you're not giving the coach the right talent on the court. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Phoenix Suns and what should they do moving forward? Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, they should trade Devin Booker and they should trade Kevin Durant. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.